Israeli agents get their task, no, liquidate the blah blah responsible for the Munich attack. What do? Do you remember? They go to some weird French clan family living somewhere in the countryside as a kind of a big family, children playing with pigs, chicken, whatever. But in a mysterious way, it's never explained how. They know everything, like, you know, who is, where are the terrorists. This is subject supposed to know at its purest. Or another example that I like, maybe it works even better. You know that old series, Columbo. There are two nice things about it. The first one is that it undermines, falsifies the standard notion that the point of whodunit is whodunit. No, it's not whodunit. It's just to establish the link between the two levels, the surface appearance and what really... Because, you know, in Columbo, you first see clearly whodunit. So, you know, that's not the mystery. The mystery is how will he connect it, Columbo. But now we come to subject supposed to know it is purest. Did you notice what is truly mysterious about Columbo? First, you see the murder. Then Columbo comes, and in a way which is never explained, he immediately knows who did it. There is one guy, and he then harasses that, you know, I go, oh, sorry, another question, and so on. But the mystery is this initial absolute knowledge. He absolutely knows from the beginning. But where I would return to you is that I am more and more convinced that the category of subject supposed to believe in ideology is much more fundamental, radical, than subject supposed to know. Subject supposed to believe in the sense that I was developing before of this transposed belief, another can believe to me, and so on. For example, I spoke recently in Germany with a psychiatrist whose specialty, slightly perverse, is to analyze this, we call them in Europe swingers, this, you know, usually normal straight people who organize in these private orgies, group sex, and so on. And found how, far from being simply dissolute, oh, we can screw each other and so on, they all have another figure, somebody who has to remain innocent, who shouldn't know what they are doing. And if that one were to know, it's usually either, oh my God, let's screw like crazy, 3 men can penetrate me, but my mother shouldn't know, but my son shouldn't know, or what. And everything falls apart if that person knows. No? You know where you have this in a nice way? You know, I only know the film, I don't read this kind of pretentious novels. Edith Wharton, Age of Innocence. Winona Ryder is the naive one, but she, in order for Daniel Day-Lewis, Newland, to have his, okay, non-consummated affair, but nonetheless affair, that she is supposed to be innocent not to know. And you remember the very final scene when she is dead, his young wife, so he is now free to go and even marry Michelle Pfeiffer, but then his son tells him, oh, mother knew it all the time, she just... And this ruins it for him. This is a nice example of the fall, but I'm not making fun here. Now let me, to conclude, tell you a much more radical, tragic even example. Agnes Heller, it's the lover, pupil, of George Lukács, French. She's somewhere between Australia and now. She told me this story. This was a Hungarian philosopher who emigrated to the West, and during World War II, she was in a concentration camp, like she has the number statute in, really. And she told me a very interesting story, how in her barrack, and later she discovered, she was told, in others also, there was always a rumor. What rumor? Basically, people in the barracks, the majority were, let's call them survivalists. You did everything to survive. There were some minimal ethical rules, but it was a cruel universe. For example, you weren't allowed to beat the other guy. But if the other guy was stupid enough to turn around and left a piece of bread or shoes, you were allowed to steal. Very cruel universe. No honesty and so on. Then there was a minority of so-called Muslims, Muslims, those who simply broke down the living dead. But then, she told me that in almost every barrack there was a myth that in the barrack nearby or somewhere near, there is somebody who is still fully human, who is not just a survivalist, but helps other, you know, like retains this morality. And she told me the most dangerous moment was when you met people from the other barrack in some during work or whatever, when you discover that that's a myth, that the other is no better than you. She told me that was the most dangerous moment. At that point, usually people collapsed, regressed to Muslim and to the living dead. But you see the paradox. The paradox is that to sustain your cruel, survivalist, amoral attitude, you need another one, as it were, to be moral for you. I think we shouldn't, and this is for me the key for today's cynicism and so on and so on. We are not as dishonest, as cruel, as egotistic as we appear to be. And I'm not even saying that this is good. This is neither good nor bad, but it's an interesting phenomenon. So at this level, for me, ideology is fundamental. Ideology occurs with the symbolic order. What do I mean by this? Like, for example, let's say I were to do something obscene here. I don't know. Rather not. My imagination is too dirty. But then, if you were to, you know, it's not enough for you to be in a proper symbolic universe to tell me, no, you shouldn't do this. We don't agree with it. No, you should, to really be in the universe of norms, you should say one doesn't do it here. You know, there must be a minimum of this normative alienation. It's not the same as most of us are. You know, like, you don't say you shouldn't steal because most of us don't steal. You should say because one shouldn't steal. And the whole point is that even if you steal, you secretly refer to respect this. When this anonymity of the symbolic order falls down, you are in a psychosis or whatever. No? And again, for me, the crucial moment of ideology is precisely this, how should I call it, this level of appearances. You know it's a lie, but it determines you. Like the example that I use, sorry to repeat it all the time. Let's say I know you, but not very well. We meet each other on the street. Of course, when we meet, I tell you, hi, nice to see you, how are you? Okay, you know what's the joke. We both know very well that I don't care. How are you? And nice to see you, maybe, maybe not. But what's the catch? The catch is that although we both know it's a lie, it's nonetheless, I cannot put it otherwise, that it's nonetheless not a hypocrisy. It's a sincere lie. It is a lie. Because if you were to believe seriously that I mean it, how are you? You would be fully justified to say, fuck off. It's none of your business how I am. It's a very intimate question. But you know what I mean? Although it's a lie, it's a sincere lie. It's a sincere order of appearances, even if untrue, can be, in what sense, sincere? Because the point of this is not the literal truth or not. You know, it's to signal community, positive respect, positive attitude, whatever, at the more performative level. But what I'm saying is that a psychotic is precisely the one who takes this, and I know some of them, at least borderline cases, who takes this literally. You ask him, how are you? My God, paranoia. Why are you interested in this? Why do you want to know how I am and so on? No? Like, or I probably was a kind of a psychotic. I remember when I first visited the United States in the mid-'80s, immediately after the flight, I went to New York with French cafeteria, and you know that I hate this pseudo-personification. You know, hi, my name is John, I will be serving you today, how are you, and so on, no? And I was an idiot. I didn't know it's a purely formal question. No? So I answered, so, it was a bad flight, many turbulences, and I noticed then gazed a total moment look of panic in the guy, like, my God, why is this guy answering my question? As I put it. No. So again, I'm not losing the thread of your question. What I'm saying is that, that's my point. Today, precisely in our so-called post-ideological era, ideology, racism, all these things, they survive precisely at this level. This level of this implicit rules, innuendos, unwritten rules, this level is the crucial one. This level is the most difficult to change. I think maybe at this level, battles are going on which are much more crucial than big direct debates about issues. I succeeded in talking so long so that now I can say hypocritically, I'm so sorry you didn't have time to ask more questions. No, that's my hypocrisy. Thank you.